Jesus is sufficient, so His free. There can be no condition in receiving it because He needs nothing from you. I remember in high school, the PE teacher on a particularly hot summer, I wonder if you can resonate with that, a particularly hot summer, after doing all of these this activity that he was making us do, probably just running around laps, it was a cheap school, and so the PE teacher, feeling kind of bad, he went and purchased for himself, ice cold, a bunch of stuff from the canteen, these packages of bottles of water, and he gave it to one of the seemingly responsible looking guys in the class, and he said, can you just make sure all of the students get this? They need it, I've paid for it, they can just take it, just go and give them out. Would you imagine his surprise when he found him 5 minutes later racking up cash because he was charging $2 for each of these bottles of water? Genius, a genius. I admire his entrepreneurial skills, but he was the anger of the teacher. I've done everything needed. There was absolutely no condition on being able to give it out. It is what people need, and you are adding a condition. And so if we flip this is why the gospel is so free. Why maybe when you're hearing it right now, or when you heard it for the first time, you just couldn't quite resonate with the logic of it. I'm such a sinner. The Bible shows me I fall so far beneath God's law. He's so angry. So what do I need to do? Just give me a list, a 3-point list, a 5-point. There's something I can do. And the Bible just continually says nothing. There's nothing to do. Some of you are going to hell because you're waiting for something to do to get you to heaven. You're condemned precisely because you're refusing the free gift and leaning on the obedience, on the requirement from you. And Jesus will not honor that. He will not honor the insult that it is to His gift for you to come to the table and ask what you need to do. It wasn't me, it was a particular sibling of mine, and I won't tell you the gender, the pretty classical gender that this usually happens to, but she didn't always get her car serviced, right? So here's a pattern that I noticed. My sister might say, Dad, you want to come, I'll drive. And he would say, sure, let me get my tools. This would be quite a pattern. If he's coming, he needs the things to fix the thing he's being invited to. Now this is the insult. I don't think my sister ever picked up on that insulting pattern, but I did. But this is the insult to Jesus, that if we say, come to Jesus and be saved, and your immediate response is, cool, what do I need to do? Your insult is that Jesus just seems like the kind of guy that needs a bit of help to save sinners. And the person he needs help from is sinful, disgusting, vile old me. He must be so useless, so pathetic, so unable to save sinners that even I could assist. And what Jesus is saying here is, it is so entirely free because the bread that is on offer is sent from heaven, designed by God, totally finished and ready to be received. And he says, the bread that I will give for the life of the world is my flesh. The body of Jesus has in it a full sufficiency for every one of our spiritual needs before God. As sinners, we need a payment to be made to acquit us of our guilt. Without that, the payment that is made for our guilt is just our eternal suffering in hell. So to escape that, we need something that can be sacrificed, something that can be made and offered that would replace us in hell, that would substitute us in hell. Some kind of eternal payment for guilt, and that is what Jesus offers. His bread, his body is the bread of life that He gives. The sufficiency is in its payment for your sin. But also, the sufficiency also is in the righteousness. That before God, if we are to be called righteous, welcomed and considered as worthy of being in His presence forever, we require before Him, on God's papers, a fully fulfilled law of God, a righteousness that God can look at and say, you don't have any sin. You're cleansed. You are righteous. You are good. You are worthy of being in my presence. And though you might sound like that's a high requirement of God, it is in fact a free gift offered in Jesus Christ. That everything God required, He supplied in Jesus, the bread of life. We needed to be cleaned, His blood cleans us. We needed the power to be able to believe, He gives that to us. We needed power to be able to obey Him throughout our life. Jesus supplies that in the Holy Spirit. Everything that is needed, Jesus is. Therefore, He is called the bread of life.